have your army, your Inquisition army, and you're growing your army. And as you're doing that, you're going to have some missions that you can go through. But there are some minor missions that actually the Inquisitor doesn't go himself. So basically, he sends the agents of the Inquisitions to do it. And those are exactly the agents. Oh, it looks like
we got a party wipe here.
Oh, party wipe.
So this is kind of what we were referring to, the challenge. Just to kind of interrupt a bit. The challenge early on is level 1 characters is going to be very tough. We expect that. We really wanted to make sure that it has some legs. We want you to be able to work towards success. And so, yeah, we just encountered a stalker who went stealth. I saw him at the last second, but by the time I saw him, you could see he went for that jumping lunge, and he made good work of 2 blades directly to my chest. So I wasn't able to survive that. And it's a bit of a quick spiral after that. Once a team member falls, it can get pretty ugly pretty quickly. So we got to be very careful working as a team.
So actually, you guys can see the end of the match screen. Here you can see like that you got some abilities. Looks like you leveled up also.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the great thing, kind of like we hinted at with the gold, is that it's shared across the whole team. But here we can also see, as each of our health bars filled up, it actually filled up the larger bar at the top. So we can go back here and we can see the total amount of XP earned, and it was shared across everybody. So we, for the team being successful, each team member provides a score of XP. That's great for personal pride. You feel like you get a bit of bragging rights with your friends. But at the end of the day, you all get that XP pooled back together, so you all succeed, you all progress, which is awesome. So, awesome work of our Legionnaire, our other Keeper, and our Archer meant that I got to level up to level 3 after one match. That was pretty cool. So.
And I can see some medals there. What are those?
Yeah, it looks like one of our other team members here got staff kills here, so you'll see what here, and bow kills. So there's some medals that are going to be specific to each class. So example here, the bow kills is obviously our archer using a bow. Staff kills is our mages. So I didn't fare quite as well, but our other keeper was holding down, so that was awesome.
All right, let's go back to the main menu. Now that you level up, what can you do?
We see our gold. We got some challenges there. So let's go back to the lobby here, and we stay in the lobby. We stay as a party, which is great. So you can go and play multiple matches together. Without having to disband at the end of every match. This is really handy if you're playing with friends. You just party up, get into a lobby, we'll keep going. So, you know what? I leveled up. We can see a little star there. So let's go see what we want to put for abilities here. We got 2 different trees here. Primal Spirit. We got Protection. Protection's obviously more support. Primal Spirit's a little bit more aggressive. So because we have 2 mages here, 2 keepers, we could actually choose to either go both protection. We could have 1 go protection, 1 go primal spirit, go a little more aggressive. I'm gonna try and go a little more aggressive because I like using a few more of the attacks there. So we can see here one of my starting abilities is chain lightning. I've got 2 points. I can either choose to go into arcing surge, which is the upgrade for the chain lightning, or you can see down here we have different different abilities. Now the diamonds, those are going to be our active abilities, and then we also have the circles, which is our passives. So you're going to kind of build your way through the different tree here.
Yeah, so we have the passives, which are the circles. We have the active abilities, the diamonds, and you also have like the small diamonds or the upgrades.
The upgrades, right? Exactly.
So. Okay, so choose the 2 ability points you're going to spend.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to.
So I'm going to go to.
That's actually a good, interesting point. Also, I'm like, depending on your play style, right? I'm like, if you want to be more offensive, like you said, you're going to find abilities that suit you.
Exactly.
So you can have 2 mages, 2 keepers, but they still play very different.
Very different characters as a result. Yeah. So for example, here I might look at the Dispel, which is going to be very handy for some of the other enemies. Take down their barrier. But we can also see here, we have a different path here to go down, more of a support class. And, actually Fade Step looks really interesting. I'm a big fan of that one. So let's take this one. We're going to apply that. That's our passive. To get Rejuvenating Barrier, it's going to mean we're going to get our mana back a little bit quicker. And we're going to use Fade Step. That's a nice evasive maneuver, so apply that. You can see the bottom right, actually, it applied it directly to the Y button, but I like having that more on the B button, so I can go and map that there to the B button. Now it's doubled up because I only have 3 active abilities right now, but as we level up more, we can actually introduce more abilities, and we can swap out that Y button afterwards. So,
right, we're gonna do a rotation now.
Yeah.
So Billy Buskell is gonna go downstairs, while we're gonna have Luke Barrett joining us. Actually, Luke and Derek Holland, you guys can show up here.
All right. So I'll swap out. Yeah, thanks. And I'll be playing downstairs. And of course, I've now just made some awesome decisions for how Luke's going to play. So he has to play my style instead of maybe his. I'll step out here, folks.
All right, so folks, while we're making the transition here, I'm gonna go through. Actually, yeah.
Oh, maybe while we're swapping all those over, Scylla, you can tell us a little bit more about the 12 characters and kind of how they work and the idea behind them, because they are all written and developed characters, right?
Yes. So actually, I'm gonna go through here on the screen. You can see that I'm showing the 12 characters here, right? So we do have these 12 characters, and we wanted the characters to be different from what we did with Mass Effect 3 multiplayer in a way. So we wanted them to have more personality. We wanted them to have more attitude. So each of the character, they have a specific voiceover. They're gonna have different banters. They're gonna be chatting with each other during the mission when you go dungeon crawling. Yeah, Luke, you can select whatever class you want to play. Make sure you have the other headset so that you can talk with your party members as well. They know what's going on. Yeah, it's kind of a double setup. Yeah. So yeah, we have the 12 characters, so they have personality. One of the writers, we work with the writers and the concept artists and recreate the personality for the character, and we go through how we want them to be perceived. Right, we have some setting up a little bit here. Right, don't hang yourself. All right, so we have Luke Barrett here with us. He also worked on the combat team, designing all the cool abilities you can see in the game, and many more things. Oh, you're probably muted.
Okay.
All
right, we can hear.
Yeah. So, just gonna. Hello, everyone. Just gonna take a look at Billy. What Billy has brought onto me.
I think he got the fade step for you.
Yeah. So this is our very high mobility ability. And we've also got the regeneration. So what this is basically is 35% whenever I bury some.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you can play characters different way? Because there's not one way to play a character.
Yeah, so playing as the Keeper, you are a support role, but as you can see, we've got 2 trees for it. So if I was playing it and had ability points to spend, which I don't, because somebody spent them,
Yeah, we will have some.
I would have taken this, which is the more offensive route. This is the upgrade to Chain Lightning, and it makes the Chain Lightning bounce quite a bit more, increasing the damage by quite a bit. As you can see further down in this tree, this is more the offensive stuff, with the bottom being Energy Barrage, which is really cool, but probably be a lot of gaming before we get to that. We got a bit of money. I wanna.
You wanna buy a chest?
Buy a chest, yeah.
All right, let's buy a chest. Let's see
But
what do we get.
What I want is actually this, because I kind of want to get bees.
You
So
want
we'll
potions?
we'll see if I get lucky.
And so what are the max levels for characters, and do you level across the board, or do they level individually?
So that's a good question. So each character you can level up to level 20. And actually we're gonna map the potions here, by the way. As you can see on the screen,
I'm
Luke
gonna
is doing
take
it.
this one too. This is a Lyrium potion, which actually will increase my damage as a mage. Billy has set me up more support role, but as an offensive player, I'm gonna try to multitask. And I think we are good to go.
So whenever you guys are ready, let's give it a spin. So going back to the question, what was the question again?
For max levels and how you level across characters.
Okay, so you can level up your character all the way to level 20, right? And of course, like the first levels, it's easier for you to level up in the beginning.
So yeah, you start at level 1 with 2 abilities, and then you're gonna get obviously 19 more points. There are way more things you can spend points on than what you get points for, so choose very wisely.
But that's on purpose, right?
That's on purpose, yes. Them work. So I would say, yeah, about 4 or 5 different ways to play each one.
And once you hit level 20, you can also do something with your character, right? You can promote it, right?
Yep. That'll give you a bonus to your stats for all of your characters. Depending on your base class, if you're a rogue, a warrior, or a mage, you will get a different stat, and that will affect all of your characters.
So if you promote your keeper, what do you get?
You get +1 willpower.
Okay.
And that
for all the characters.
For all your characters, yeah, they get willpower. Yeah. So here's the new skill that we've got, which is Blink. It is a mobility
fade step,
thing.
right?
Yeah, the fade step.
So So actually, Fate Step is a nice ability because you can use it offensively and defensively too.
Yeah, you'll see if you get the upgrade, it actually does damage. Right now, it's just a dodge. While you are in this mode, you can control your character. It's a little difficult running at that speed. We're good to go. I can multitask.
Yeah, remember to communicate with your party. I know it's a double role because you're speaking with me, speaking with our fans, and also speaking with your party. So.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to be a bit more offensive here. So the chain lightning ability basically will bounce off. Let's see if you can show it. Yeah, so you can see it's hitting 2 guys there. I usually like to use this to actually get into better offensive positions, but it makes me a little more vulnerable. So hopefully my team can
I noticed he
compensate.
did a combo also. What does that mean? I'm like right trigger? What did he do there?
So this is, if you, on the end of the basic attack chain, you will get the, let's see if I can show you. Oh, we'll get a guy with it. You get the multi-hit. That is only at the very end of the attack chain, so you basically get a payoff for holding the basic attack a bit longer.
So you can choose to attack like once, like once
Yeah,
by once,
so-
but you can also like
yeah,
press and hold, right?
Yeah, it's easier, well, for me to hold it, but yeah, you can mash it if you want, hold it a bit and mash it. We've got branching between actions done pretty well, so all of those things flow very smoothly depending how you want to play. Throw a barrier here.
Now I also notice you guys have 2 mages in this party. Is there a set party composition you have to have? Do I have to have a warrior?
You can play this with 4 of the same class if you really want. Some are more advantageous than others. You will ideally want to have 1 of each of the base classes of warrior, mage, and rogue, only because we have all of these treasure doors, and they usually contain really cool stuff. And there is 1 for each class, so.
But there's not just one style of warrior, right?
Nope. There is a one-handed warrior, a two-handed warrior, as well as a one-handed, two-handed rogue. We've got offense and defense-based things. We've got.
And when you add the abilities also. I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you
And
have
even within those, there's the offensive two-handed warrior, the defensive two-handed warrior. These got mages that do support. See if I can beat them to this wall. Yeah.
Now right now you guys are a low level, so obviously you're playing on easy, which isn't that easy. But if we up the difficulty and play on a harder thing, what rewards do you get for that?
The higher the difficulty you go, the more gold and more or better items you get. Additionally, oh man, sorry, spiders are always scary. These doors are especially bad if anyone has arachnophobia, because you never know until you open the door if it's going to be a vat full of spiders. But yeah, so the higher difficulties change the difficulty quite a bit. You'll see each wave gets a little harder, so the higher we go, I'll show you when I get to the next wave that the level of the creatures will be up by 1. But it's just more money. Here we go.
So one of the earlier questions it was about the relation between single player and multiplayer. So the multiplayer mode is completely optional for Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm like, play it if you want.
Yep.
If you don't like multiplayer, that's fine. And if you do play multiplayer, the economies are separate between single player and multiplayer. That's important to mention that. So you can play your single player 100+ hour campaign and have your economy there, but the multiplayer economy doesn't transfer to single player and vice versa. So all the gold that you acquire here, all the potions you have, they're related with multiplayer and vice versa for single player.
Yeah, and one of the things to note too is all of the abilities that you're seeing here in multiplayer are actually single player ones as well. We have done a very good job of having abilities that work really well in team scenarios as well as in a single player campaign.
So combat is very similar. I think that the
Yeah.
tactical cam is the big difference, right?
Yes, exactly. We have no tactical cam. You get to play this in. It turns up the pace quite a bit in multiplayer, which plays to this game style, I should say.
Yeah, so sometimes in the treasure room, I'm like, you're gonna find more than gold. I was waiting for that to happen. It is a random possibility, so you don't know. Sometimes you just get gold. Sometimes you're gonna find enemies also when you open a chest. and sometimes you're going to find some cool items. Let's wait for the opportunity. Let's see if one of the church rooms is going to show them.
So you guys suggested that there were no tactical cam in multiplayer. How do you have tactics in our multiplayer session?
So the tactics are, instead of pausing the game, going into the overhead view and saying you go here, you do this, you cast this ability, you have to actually coordinate with your teammates and say, hey, person who's playing the warrior, please don't abandon me and let me die horribly. Please block off this choke point. That's use voice chat for that. Hopefully you are playing with friends or friendly people on the internet. Sometimes the internet is a scary place.
And you can use also the D-pad also, right? I'm like,
yeah, there's callouts for, there's a thank you. You can do a defend here. There's attack my target is one of the more handy ones and shit.
And do you need 4 people to start a match, or can you try to go crazy solo?
You can play it solo. You will not do well.
It's gonna be hard on purpose.
Yeah, it is designed to play with 4. 3 is probably what I would recommend if you want to go with the most minimal. But yeah, definitely 4 with the best experience. It's balanced around having 4 people, so.
We wanted to be a party-based adventure, right?
Yeah.
We wanted to be a team.
Yeah, and I should mention,
experience.
with all of the abilities that use this targeting mode, you can cancel it at any time.
Good point.
And then it won't take a resource, which is handy.
Crash room.
It also goes through your character pretty well. And there is a max range to it too, so you can't just drive around the level and explore. Do
we have a new question? No? Right. Open chest. Let's see what's going to happen.
Alright, so hopefully
you guys have been lucky.
we keep our lucky streak and not get enemies. Oh.
Alright. So sometimes when you open a
away.
chest, you're going to find some enemies that are defending
so this
the
one
chest.
is an arcane horror. He is one of our undead guys. He does mostly spirit damage and is very scary. Oh
and
my.
He teleports all the time.
Yeah, and he teleports all the time. So if you are a melee, this fight is a little bit difficult. Try to dodge this stuff. Just noticing I'm slacking on casting barrier on everybody. So if anyone dies, it is definitely my fault.
That is actually a good point. I'm like, you can definitely notice in Dragon Age multiplayer when one of the team members is not clear his role, it kind of affects the party, like right there, right?
Yeah, if our archer was not casting caltrops in doorways and basically providing a little bit of suppression and doing enough damage, you would notice, and like I am doing, if our keeper is not doing enough barriering, people will start dying. Should be noted that just because we are using a barrier-based keeper, you can play without it. Given the 3 classes that we have, it would be a bit tricky, but there are other classes that are based around evasion or dots or even lifesteal, with things like Reaver abilities.
I love playing with the Reaver.
Yeah, the Reaver is really fun. Hopefully
so the Reaver is the 2-handed warrior, right? Yep.
Yeah, and it is based around blood and damage and violence.
How many characters do we start with, and how do we get more?
So you start with 3 characters unlocked, and as you progress through, I'm like, as you play the game, you're gonna get gold coins, and with the gold coins, you're gonna buy some chests. So you can luckily get one of the characters when you buy a chest. You can get the armor.
If you're very lucky.
Yeah, you can get the armor that unlocks that character. Another way that you can do it is also that you can craft the armor for the specific character that you want to unlock. So if I want to play with the Reaver, the 2-handed warrior, so I can get a lot of items, I can salvage all those items, basically melt them, and I'm going to get crafting materials out of it. And with the crafting materials, I can create the armor for the Reaver. And once I have that armor, then I unlock
the materials you need are relative to the class you're trying to unlock to. So if you want to be unlocking a mage-based class, you will be wanting to melt down.
So there's a lot more than just gold and interest.
Oh yes, definitely. And another important thing, like since we're talking about the economy, let's say that Luke is playing with a keeper and he wants to level up his keeper all the way to level 20, but he got like a sword or an axe or a hammer, anything like that. Like he cannot use them with the mage, but he can, like I said, he can salvage and once he does that, he's going to have lots of crafting materials. With those crafting materials, he can try to unlock a new character with an armor, or maybe you can use it for weapon modifications too, right?
Yep. One of the problems I always run into is getting a really nice rare weapon for another class, and then you're like, oh, I've been trying to level my keeper up, but now I kind of want to play the Reaver, or I kind of want to play this because I got this really cool weapon. So I end up with an account that has, you know, level 10 of everything rather than one level 20.
I think that's a good problem to have if you're getting like rare weapons.
Yeah, oh, we got our event guy here. The stalkers are very vicious because they will teleport or go invisible and run behind people, and it gets pretty deadly on your support classes.
So one of the questions we were getting from the fans is if we can respec the character. So yes, you can respec the character. Once you promote the character level 20, basically you go back to, the character goes back to level 1 and you can restart, right?
Yep.
You can restart.
And then by that time, hopefully you've played your character enough and you probably have a better, oh, I like this ability, I didn't like this one, I don't, you know, certain abilities are built for playstyles. So, you know, I prefer the offensive playstyle, so I probably wouldn't get more defensive stuff, though, to be fair, having this dodge is very handy. I would probably be dying quite a bit more if I didn't have it, so we can thank Billy for that.
Thank you, Billy. I noticed that once in a while in your screen on the right side, I can see like a green spider web. What is that?
Yeah, so that is the weaken debuff. One of the Venatori archers on his snipe attack has that debuff. What it does is it reduces the amount of damage I am doing by 20%. However, I believe it's only physical damage, so as a mage I kind of don't have to worry about it too much. As a warrior, or especially as an archer, you will really feel the difference in the amount of damage you do, which completely limits your roll. So try not to get hit by that. They last, depending on type of creature, it lasts anywhere from 8 to 12 seconds.
Okay.
Which isn't too bad, but if there are a bunch of archers in the back, you'll be getting quite a few of them.
So another question that we got from the fans was about trading. Like, do we have trading in Dragon Age multiplayer? We do not have trading in Dragon Age multiplayer. What you can do, as I mentioned before, once you get a weapon that you don't like, you can salvage that weapon, and once you do that, you're going to get crafting materials. And with the crafting materials, you're going to choose what you're going to do. You want to craft like a new hilt for your sword. If you want to do like...
And there's always something you want with crafting materials.
There is always something, yeah. Lots of possibilities. We're going to go through the armor, actually. Once we level up a little bit more, get some gold coins, we can do some... or if you guys get some cards, actually, that have...
Hopefully we get lucky and get some cool weapons.
And if I get stuff for one character, can I trade that between my characters, or is it locked to a single guy?
That's a very good point. So the inventory is shared within your account. So if Luke, for example, he got like a really awesome sword, and he does have, for example, like the Legionnaire, he can just swap to the Legionnaire and get that sword and use that sword, right? As long as it is a weapon that you can use with that character.
For that class,
yeah, for that class.
I noticed you guys entered Zone 3. What does that mean? What are the differences between the zones other than maybe a little bit harder each time?
So we do have 5 zones, right, in every mission that you played, and as you go further, it's going to be more difficult. You're going to find different types of enemies, and they're going to be a little bit more difficult, and it gets more challenging.
You can see now that the level has gone up significantly from when we started, and I'll try to show it again later when we hopefully make it to the end this time.
Yeah, on the top of the screen it shows the little 3, level 3, level 5.
And that's, if you target lock someone, you get a bit more information about them. But by the end, I think it goes up to 5 or 6 on the first difficulty.
And if you get to Zone 5, what happens there?
At Zone 5, there is a very separate event. You have to try to defend a point. There is a boss character, or boss type character of the faction, so depending on what faction you're playing, you'll get a different boss. They are very scary and do quite a bit of damage. So it is tough. Some of them are better suited to be fought against by, like for instance, the Demon faction. If you came in with the Templar, you would have an easier time against the boss, whereas they are more physically oriented.
And we have 3 factions, right, in Dragon Age multiplayer. We have the Venatori.
Yep, the Venatori, which are the more humanoid ones. We have the Red Templars, which are... they're corrupted people. I don't want to spoil too much of the story, so we'll just say they're Templars. They are red. and then the Demon faction, which is your fire-breathing rage demons and your ice-shooting despair demons and shades and horrors and things like that.
Speaking about spoilers, actually, that's a good point. So I think the Dragon Age multiplayer, one of the cool things about Dragon Age multiplayer is that you can play with your friends, and there are no spoilers for the story. Single player.
Yep.
I mean, you're gonna learn more about combat. You're gonna learn more about the enemies that you're gonna face, the abilities you can use. But there's no spoilers, so you can have your single player campaign. And for example, if Luke is playing already for 20 or 30 hours, and I just started Dragon Age Inquisition, and I'm afraid that you're not gonna spoil the story for me. No problem. We jump into multiplayer. We have fun together. Kill a lot of enemies, and no spoilers. So we can come back and share that cool moment we had last night and talk about it the next day.
And am I able to join matches with my friends who are way higher levels than me?
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
Is it region locked, or can I play with people in Europe?
Okay, so let's go for the first one. Can I join my friends with different levels?
Yes, you can. It is built. Certain classes are more beneficial at higher levels and lower levels. For instance, the Keeper is a really good companion to have with a higher level character because barrier is useful all the time. You will not be as strong, but you can still compete quite a bit with your friends if they're level 20. And even at level 20, you can still die in routine. Like if you were level 20 and you tried to play this by yourself, if you are not paying attention, don't have the right gear, or picked really ridiculous abilities, you will die. It is not a cakewalk at that point.
Could we say that the gear plays a bigger role than the level of the character?
Yes. The gear is probably the most important aspect of it. The weapons you're using are very close second because the damage that all of your abilities do are based on the weapon you are using. So, oh boy.
Oh, Stalker right behind you.
Save me. These guys are not fun when you're playing a mage. They have a tendency to disappear from the tank and appear behind the mages and kill them. And it looks like we've got a defensive mission here. We are defending this fellow, the Inquisition captain.
Yep.
Not really sure why he has ventured into this terrible place, but we will try to get him out as best we can.
He was lost.
Yeah.
You guys are saving him.
He took a wrong turn somewhere.
Oh, and also the other question was related if you could play with people from different regions. Yes, you can. If you're here in North America and you want to play with someone in Europe, you can. So, of course, the matchmaking system is going to try to find people that are closer to you, that have a better ping, so you're going to have a better experience when you quick match. But if you want, you have friends, you can just send him an invite, and you can join a match with him wherever he is in the world. Of course, the lower the ping, the better the experience, as any multiplayer game.
Yeah, I should mention, let's see if I can get it here. So sometimes you'll see these words popping up, like shocked there or blocked. A lot of our status effects, like debuffs basically, will come up as text. They are fairly important. I don't know if we have an ability to do a legitimate combo. No, we don't. I don't think we have the things. But there are combinations of skills to pull off. I find it easier to do in multiplayer than in single player.
So we can explain it, right? Like
yeah,
you can freeze someone.
The combo system is basically the easiest way to explain it is if you have a hard crowd control ability like a freeze or a paralyze, you can then combo it up with something that really is a more impactful attack, like a really strong sword or shield bash or something like that, and that will perform a combo. The effects of that combo are dependent on, one, the starting ability that you use. So if I use freeze and then hit with a warrior shield slam, it will be different if I hit with sleep and then hit with a shield slam, for instance.
So that's another cool thing, because it also requires a little bit of communication, right? If you want to do a combo, you can say that you're gonna try to freeze the enemy, and you freeze the enemy.
Yeah.
And the tank can kind of shatter him to pieces.
Try not to put the Revenant in front of this archer. The guy you're defending has probably why he's in this dungeon, has a tendency to get himself into trouble and run right up into a sword for some reason. He's not very smart.
Yeah, as an archer, he should be more ranged.
Yeah, he should be more ranged, but
that's why you need to defend him.
Yeah, that's why you need to defend him
from himself.
Yes, but I was going to say the debuff that I do have here is the shocked one, and what that does is it actually drops the resistance to fire, lightning, and cold on this Revenant by 20%, which is pretty handy because we have 2 mages here. So that doesn't stack, just in case somebody's going to ask that question.
Alright, so now that you defeated the enemy, you can open the chest.
And maybe get an item this time.
If you're getting
gold.
lucky.
We're not
an item now.
Today.
Yeah, sometimes you're gonna find an item, so basically a card is gonna pop up, and you're gonna see. You can even see if it's a rare item, right? You can see the border of the color.
It'll show you the border of it. A nice thing to note too is when one person gets an item, I believe every single person gets an item as well.
They may not be of
Yep.
the same rarity.
They
though.
may not be of the same rarity,
And
which is
definitely
always
not
comical.
the same item.
Because
also.
then when you get a blue, you get to say, "Yay, I got a blue," and everyone else says, "Oh, I only got a common one." Though the common ones are really nice depending if you're trying to unlock a new class.
Someone is
This-
down.
Yeah, this is where it's going to